Hi there, this is John from Commercial Real Estate Online. This is one of the video shows that I like to share when it comes to particular commercial, retail or industrial property issues. The website to contact us is commercial-realestate-training.com. Now this particular video is all about shopping centres, of course. That's the shopping centre leasing strategy plan. Now this particular chart is very large. There are many things in this chart which will help you when it comes to managing and or leasing shopping centres. Now in the first video I covered off on one particular topic, and that was the tenancy mix review. I started to move through it. So today I'll cover off on other issues within that to help you. Before I'll start, I will highlight for you a particular article at the website, which is Fine-Tuning Retail Success, a deep dive into shopping centre management. That particular article will help you a lot when it comes to various things to move through when it comes to shopping centre management. So that's the article at the website. Let's go further. Now, taking this particular tenancy mix review, there are many topics in here. And in the first video, I moved through this particular topic, which was lease details. I went through these items here. Again, I've got an article that I've written for you about that, and this is the article here, how to review lease details in selling a commercial property or retail for that matter. The big issues I want you to understand are all of these here. Rent reviews, lease expiries, option dates, all of that. Read the article, very, very helpful to give you a checklist to do the right things. Now, let's go back to where we're at today. So as I said, I covered this particular topic, the lease details, in the last video, and you can get that at the website. But today I'm going to cover off on the current tenants. So when you're looking at a shopping centre, understanding the current tenants is so important because they are the cash flow stream for the property. The current tenants will be the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities for the property over time. So that's where I do a SWOT analysis at the very start of looking at the tenancy mix. In doing the SWOT analysis, I like to break things down into these groups. High quality tenants, longer term tenants, weaker tenants. If I've got weak tenants in the mix, I've got to understand why that's happening. It could be the tenant, it could be the product offering, it could be the service. Maybe they just have to leave the property. Maybe the lease is coming to an end. Those things you need to think about, and that's what I do through the SWOT analysis. So high quality tenants, long-term tenants, you protect both of those. They are your VIP tenants. Weaker tenants, you formulate a strategy for that. Now, you're left with other tenants, and they could be relocations. And in relocations, you've got to look at expansion and contraction needs to help those tenants become more successful within the property. There's nothing wrong with relocating tenants, expanding or contracting into another part of the property to help them become more successful. After all, a successful tenancy mix and tenant group and tenant will help you attract customers to the property. So, my first thought here is doing the SWOT analysis with these particular things to help you. From that point, I then do a risk assessment, again, of the current tenants. Because in the current tenancy side of things, I need to understand what the risks are. So what are the risks? Vacancies, tenant-generated risk. Now what that means is that some tenants can create risk for you through their business operations. Now, for example, it might be a bank. It might be an ATM. It might be a food-related tenant. You never really know. Sometimes a tenant will generate a risk to occupancy over time simply because of their business activities. Now, that could be a business that has become controversial for some particular reason. All of a sudden, you've got a tenant-generated risk that you have to manage through and think about from a leasing perspective, a management perspective. So in the risk assessment, I'll then have a look at all the code compliances to make sure that everything is working well within the property and all the tenants are complying with occupancy and fit out, health and safety, all of those things. And there's the health and safety topic there. So that's the risk assessment. I need to get my thoughts around those things after I've done the SWOT analysis. So stage 1, the SWOT. Stage 2, the risk assessment. Stage 3, the anchor tenants. To understand the lease details, the rent details, the sales records, the marketing activities. In doing that, I can actually work out just what that anchor tenant is doing for me and whether it's a positive tenant component to the shopping centre. Lease, rent, sales, marketing. Have a meeting with this anchor tenant, of course. So from that, you're now coming back to all the specialty tenants that you would have reviewed anyway in the SWOT, which we did up here. So in the specialty tenants, I need to think about these things. The rent reviews that are coming up, those that are required to be processed, how they are processed as well. Options, critical dates. Within the leases for each tenant, that means looking through each lease is so important. And the lease terms and conditions, well, that's part and parcel of understanding these things, reading the lease. Now, looking at the specialty tenants, understand the product or service offerings so that you can identify how things work for that tenant in that location as far as attracting customers. Now, the contact details, that will always be a meet and greet requirement to meet the people within the tenancy that are the control people, the proprietors of the business. Now, from that, I would discuss with the specialty tenants the marketing activities to know what they're doing and how they see the marketing for the shopping centre. Now, looking at this, the specialty tenants, I then look at the merchandise groups based on all of the tenants and all of these things that I've been through. So when I go through all of those things, I can understand how many tenants I might have within the merchandise groups, which could be food, fashion, and in fashion you'll have male, female, shoes, you'll have maybe jewellery, that sort of thing. So the merchandise groups are many-fold in many different ways. So understand those things. So that is the specialty tenants. And from all of that, and I'm working with the current tenants, understand the contact details. Now, I've got an article here for you about what to look for here in this particular topic. It's high quality tenant mix review strategies in shopping centres. So please check it out. Have a read through it and then go through all of these details here, read them, understand them, and then start to build your checklist from that. So that's the topic, high quality tenancy mix review strategies in retail shopping centres. So that's the end of this particular topic today, the current tenants. In the next video, I'm going to go into the vacancy factors and work through all of these things. And of course, there are many different things here in shopping centres to think about, and all of these things will help you. Now, just to recap, you've got today's topics there. You've also, or should have, the previous topics for the lease details, all of these things here. So that's it for now. Make sure that you visit the website. That's commercial-realestate-training.com. This is John Highman signing off for now. I look forward to seeing you at the website, and of course get those particular articles that I showed you in this video to help you with shopping centre management and leasing. Catch you again very soon.